When our next guest contacted me, we thought that perhaps she would do a nutritional segment in the kitchen, and then she sent me her background information and her story, and we were so inspired reading her story, and we're so happy to have her on the show. We're joined by Sophie Smith. She's a fitness consultant, and she has gone through an incredible journey. Sophie, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. And I want to talk about your personal transformation because it all started, I guess, with you had eating disorders throughout your life. Can you sort of walk us through some of the journey that you've been through as far as the eating disorders?
Yeah, all through my adolescence, of course, struggling with self-worth is sort of the core of the eating disorder, and I would go back and forth between restricting my food intake, purging what I did intake, and then over-exercising. And I would be in different stages of that eating disorder throughout most of my young life, up until about 25 when I was finally hospitalized.
So you suffered, you had overweight issues for a while, anorexia for a while, went back to that. And what sort of clicked? When did it click for you that, you know, I have to do something about this situation for myself?
When I collapsed on a running trail during one of my morning runs. And that was kind of the moment where I went, I really can't hide this anymore. I had gone and sought help only a few months before that. I had sat in on a consultation and I blogged about this. And the psychiatrist told me, you are in a risk category where you are going to suffer from cardiac arrest if you don't manage this. And I recommend inpatient treatment. And I thought, oh my goodness, well, that's ridiculous, because I was so wrapped up in the illness that I honestly thought I need to be a better anorexic before I deserve that much help.
But you were into training at the same time?
At the time, no. I literally just ran and ran and ran as if I was running away from myself.
Okay, that makes sense.
And,
yes.
And I didn't discover training until I learned to feed my body well after my hospitalization recovery.
Of course.
I want to share your before and after photo that you sent to us. Can we bring up that, Sean? Here is your before on the left, and here is your after. So you didn't just make a minor change in your life.
No, that was kind of a drastic change.
It was quite a drastic. So what led you to start? So you started competing in bodybuilding. You're now in powerlifting.
Yeah.
Why did you go to such an extreme?
Well, extremes was the very nature of my personality all along. And what I needed to do was harness it in a healthy way and figure out first the self-worth piece, and then I could sort of make a decision where, okay, this is too extreme, let's pull back a little bit. And to be honest, this is one of the reasons why I'm transitioning now to powerlifting from bodybuilding, because the prep for bodybuilding is very extreme. Requires an incredible amount of discipline. And for someone who has had issues with control over food and body image issues, the dysmorphia that's present between an off-season body like I have now and a stage body, I mean, there's so much room for dysmorphia. Coming back from that stage body to now is not easy. And even in a well brain, I'm well, I'm symptom-free, I have not had a relapse with the exception of shortly after a tragic family experience several years ago. I am now able to understand that that's a little extreme for me. So powerlifting is all about fueling my body for lifts and performance. So my goal now is to be strong, not necessarily shredded.
You are now a personal trainer? Or do you call yourself a personal consultant? Can you tell us?
It's not personal training. I don't actually work in a gym with clients. What I am is a fitness consultant. So I assess a client's needs. It's all done online. I assess clients' needs, and I'll build them based on where they are and where they want to be. And of course, their own history and their own relationship with food and themselves. I'll build them a nutrition and a fitness component to help them achieve their goals. The primary focus of my business, however, is on helping them get that relationship with food back and looking inward instead of outward. Too many people go and look for a diet so that they can, oh, I'll feel so much better about myself if only I'm a size 6. And the answer, I got to size 0 and I felt worse about myself. I was hospitalized with an eating disorder. So there's nothing better in smaller numbers. The key is self-worth and loving yourself, and that is how you achieve the body that you want anyway, is by honoring it.
So it's a very healthy approach, mind and body.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It has to be mind
Yes.
first.
Yes. Yes.
People are listening to your story and thinking, wow, the challenges that you have gone through. And you mentioned just before that you had a tragic family incident. Would you mind sharing that? Because I just want people to know where your journey has gone. I mean, you have to be so focused to get out of something like you did.
Yes. Yeah.
So your stepfather was murdered
Yeah.
in his own bed, and you can take the story from there.
Yeah, so I had a relatively toxic relationship with my mother growing up, and so I had an inkling that my mother might be responsible, but she played the role of the grieving widow quite well, and everyone else rallied to her side. So I just ran home 350 kilometers away to take care of everyone and to just do all the logistics. And for a year, I would do this, and I would sort of put myself on a back burner to take care of the family and to get everybody through this. My mother was then arrested and charged with first-degree murder. And so at that moment, I should add that she was charged with second degree in the end and is in prison now for life. But she, at that moment of her arrest, it was an end. I understood that the toxicity I grew up with was still present, and I needed to purge it from my life because it never brought me anything valuable. And the moment I severed that, of course, it was a terrible first year. Such a difficult thing to do, to mourn the loss of a family that isn't really gone. But I did it, and absolutely nothing but good has come from my life since then, because I still hear her voice with those negative messages in the back of my head at my lowest moments, but they're not real. They are actually fictitious. And I can move from that, where if they were real, it's just such a different dynamic.
I think you're absolutely remarkable, and I think you're a great inspiration to everybody.
Thank you very
It was
much.
a pleasure to
Couldn't
meet
agree
you.
Thank you.
You're actually leaving from here to go to
Yes.
Cornwall, right, for a competition. What is the competition you're
It's a
heading?
powerlifting meet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And you've got your son involved too, right, with helping you in your training to a certain
He is
extent.
so happy that I am in powerlifting now and not bodybuilding because
I can
he tells
imagine.
me, Mom, you are so much happier when you can eat.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Can anybody do powerlifting of all ages, or?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay,
Some of
okay.
the most successful powerlifters that I know it personally are in their late 40s,
Okay,
early
good to know.
50s.
Okay,
and
good to know.
if you decide to do something, there's absolutely nothing you
There's
can
hope
in
for
touch.
us.
Yes, there is. We need to get in touch with you.
Absolutely,
Okay.
please do.
All right,
Yeah,
we
visit
will.
the website.
Absolutely.
We brought the website up on screen. Sophie, a real pleasure meeting you. And we will have Sophie back down the road because she has a lot of great nutritional advice that she can share with viewers. Don't go away. Speaking of nutrition, we're talking to the Egg Farmers of Canada and the Breakfast Clubs of Canada and their fabulous partnership right after this. Don't go anywhere.